So, because it was the first video, I thought that I would pick the 2 most liked comments to be in the videos. So I've done Doug Trio, and this is now Mega Heracross. So I've just put Mega Heracross onto the Abominable Snow team instead of it. Like, I think I've changed Dialga to Shuckleberry for some reason, I don't know. Like, it's pretty much the same. So Heracross, Bullet Seed does KO Primal Kyogres, which is awesome. I didn't feel the need for Pin Missile at all because it's not very good coverage bug in this meta, but Bullet Seed gets the KO. Rock Blast is for like Talonflames and Salamences and stuff, I guess. Close Combat is obviously its best move. The EV spreads 116. I think it still KOs Kangaskhan even at -1, and then I put the rest into Special Bulk. I don't think the Special Bulk does anything completely significant, but you know, it's super bulky. So I'm not actually going to find some matches because I did a Showdown tournament just with this team, just expecting to get knocked out in the first round just to test out the recordings and stuff, but then I actually made it through to the final, so I'm actually going to show those matches instead. And this is the first one. So I'm against Mono Dragon, which is really good for my Aromatisse and my Dialga right here, because I threaten the KOs with Moonblasts and Dragon Pulses when I get out my Trick Room. So I'm going to bait him into attacking my Dialga, but he doesn't fall for it. He Earthquakes and Super Fangs my Aromatisse, but luckily I'm bulky enough to take that because Earthquake's not very good on Torrentium. So now I'm free to Moonblast and Iron Head both his Pokemon. I was expecting this to actually KO Torrentium, but it survives, which is annoying. But then it flinches, because he could have just EQ'd there and it would have been horrible, but Moonblast and Iron Head is then enough to take out this Torrentium. Not quite the Noivern, and Aegislash actually survives in Blade form the Draco Meteor, which is really nice. So now, again, I'm just going to Moonblast and Iron Head. There's no reason to go for anything else. He is going to Double Protect to try and stall out the Trick Room, but that's not going to work because I still have one more turn. So I'm going to just Moonblast KO this Noivern. He should have probably gone for the Double Protect, and Iron Head the Kyurem for the KO. So apparently Torrentium is bulkier than Kyurem. So his final one, Rayquaza. He's going to Mega Evolve it, which isn't really going to help him. He is going to take out my Aromatisse before I can get out the Trick Room. But Iron Head is a 2-hit KO onto this Rayquaza, so I have won the match because I can just Iron Head and Dragon Pulse this Rayquaza for the win, which is really nice. No need to set up Trick Room or anything, because I definitely won if I had double attacked. So that was the first one. And this was the second one, which was Voidcat. So I did actually see what the opponent was going to bring in this one. I saw Voidcat, and I very cheekily put Lumberry on my Talonflame because I didn't want to just to get knocked out of the tournament because of Voidcats, because I wanted to actually kind of test the team as such. So I'm going to bait him into thinking I can't think I can Flare Blitz by leading with Kyogre and then switch out into Dialga to fodder the Dark Void, because he was definitely going to faint through the potential quick guard, but I put my Lumberry on my Talonflame and I'm going to Flare Blitz this Lucario. I even put Chesterberry onto my Aromatisse because, you know, I didn't want to lose. So he's going to bring in his Smeargle. He's going to switch out to his Ditto so that he can copy my Dialga, which was probably a good play on his part, but I am able to critical hit the Smeargle. I don't know if the crit mattered, but it was a Scarf Smeargle, so it probably did. It was probably bulky enough. He is going to get the Quick Claw activating, but because of my priority, that goes first. Does a good chunk to the Liepard, and his Earth Power does a significant chunk to my Dialga, because I think I took off the Shuckleberry for that one. No, I think I added a different item anyway, because I didn't get the Shuckleberry activating, but Moonblast onto this Liepard doesn't work because he protects. Earth Power onto the Ditto does a lot of damage, and Flash Cannon isn't enough to KO my Aromatisse, so I have won the match, apart from Quick Claw and Swagger, because that was the only way he could come back. If the Quick Claw activated, which KOs my Aromatisse, and I hit myself in confusion with Dialga, so I can actually still lose this, even though I thought I definitely won. So he's going to Swagger my Kyogre, but I win the speed tie, and I get through with the confusion and Dragon Pulse the Dialga for the KO. So now I just need to break through one more time. He protects, which was wrong, because that gave me an extra turn to break out of confusion with Kyogre, and he's going to Foul Play KO my Dialga. I'm not going to get confused, and I am able to KO this Liepard. So that was good, beating the Voidcats, because I wanted to actually test the team against proper teams. So that was the second game. And this was the third game against Deathbeds, who is actually a good player, so I was expecting to definitely lose this one, especially because he's got a somewhat decent team. Like, I don't know what the Rotom does, but it looks legit. So I'm going to lead off with my Heracross and my Dialga. He's going to lead off with his Kangaskhan and his Talonflame. Now, surely I have to protect my Heracross here, because he can just Brave Bird KO me. So because of that, because it was so obvious, I'm actually going to switch out my Dialga into my Talonflame, expecting the Flare Blitz and the fighting move, Power Up Punch or Low Kick. and that works out really nicely because he Flare Blitzes into my Talonflame, and he goes for the low kick as well into the Talonflame, which is brilliant because Talonflame survives, and I'm able to KO this Talonflame with the Rock Blast. Look at that, doing so much damage, not even requiring the 5 hits at all, just 2 hits. Now here, again, I'm not expecting him to be targeting my Talonflame. He wants to double edge the Heracross, so I'm going to get up the Sword Stance with the Talonflame. He's going to be going for Trick Room, that's why I outsped this turn, because he was probably modest if he has the Landorus, because of the telepathy, and he's going to go for the Trick Room. But now, Kangaskhan's gone down, I get another free Brave Bird with my Talonflame, doing a huge chunk to the Groudon. If I had doubled up onto Groudon, that would have been really nice, but I went for Dialga, which protected. It doesn't normally run Protect, I don't think, but, you know, it's going to KO both my Pokemon, but I'm still min speed with both mine, which is probably a bad idea. You probably shouldn't speed tie with your your 2 Ubers like this, but I'm going to win any potential speed ties with that Groudon twice, with Shuckleberry activating to survive, let him survive with the Dialga this turn, doing a lot of damage with the Draco, but that doesn't really matter at this point. I'm able to just finish up with a Water Spout, so I actually managed to beat quite a good player with such a, I wouldn't say jokey team, but unconventional team. That's the point of this, isn't it? So that was actually the quarterfinals, and this is not the semi-finals because that accidentally got deleted. So we're going straight on to the final. So I've actually managed to make it to the final with a Mega Heracross, which is pretty cool. He's going to lead off with his Kangaskhan and Dialga against my Dialga and Talonflame. Now here, I'm expecting the fighting move and maybe an Earth Power into the Heracross, or what was the Dialga slot, and switching the Heracross to resist that. He does go for the fighting move Power-Up Punch onto Heracross and the Earth Power onto Heracross, and I get a free +2 with my Talonflame, which is awesome. Heracross doing an amazing job by being the correct type. But now it's going to be the wrong type, because I'm going to Brave Bird, even at only a +1, I can KO this Landorus, but he is going to go for Fire Blast and take out my Heracross. Poor Heracross. Don't know if the crit mattered, it might have done, but, you know, it is what it is. Heracross did something by surviving that turn. So I'm expecting the Thunderbolt into the Talonflame this time, and any kind of move from the Dialga into the Kyogre. But because he's physical, it definitely made sense for him to knock out my Kyogre right here, because he is able to get the double KO with the Dragon Pulse and Wild Charge, so I've definitely lost now. So he is actually going to have Superpower as well, which, like, definitely seals it up. But Earth Power, Shuckleberry saves me, but, you know, it was over. And I Earth Power him, so if it was a best of 3, I got some information that he was an Assault Vest Dialga. That's something. And, like, he's not Life Orb Thunderous, but he's Physical Thunderous, so that's something. But, you know, made it to the final with Mega Heracross. Maybe it has some usability, I don't know. That's the point of this series, to try and find all these different things to make the metagame more fun. So, post into the comments the next Pokemon you would like to see in the next Funconventionality. I will most likely be picking the most thumbs up Pokemon each time, because that will be the fairest way to work out what I should use next. So, thanks for watching.